Scrapper Names fans. Here we are back again with my second Challenge Tuesday. So far so good, I'm keeping up with it. I am doing the Paper Issues Sketchy Saturday, I think it's called. It's actually the first time I've entered a Paper Issues challenge, just because there's always so many in the month that I never get a chance to do all of them. So here it is. Now, as you can see, there is a photo of my stepdaughter from like a million years ago, because she's like 12 now, so she's not quite that little. Yeah, so what I've done is the backing paper is red, as you can see, red cardstock, and it's just to tie in with her outfit that she's wearing. And I've gone with this, it's not completely white, it's sort of like an off-white script wordy pattern paper. It's actually from like the 12x12 Audi paper pad, which if you're a follower of mine, you've seen me use a few times now. I just, to sort of balance off that black and white of the little kitty cat as well. Now the sketch calls for like a pattern in the background. So what I'm going to do is, using my larger brush here, I'm going to use this dilution paint, and you'll see me just spread it in no particular. As you can see, it's just like swishing it on, and it's cherry pie is that dilutions paint, if you were wondering. Now I've edited a bit out because it took me a little bit to get this completed. It's taken 2 sittings because I sort of got interrupted when I started it, and forgot that I'd actually left the camera on for a few minutes or longer, so I had to go back through and edit it all. So yeah, so it might jump around a little bit, but anyway. So there is some layers behind the photo in the sketch, so I'm working on that right now. I was going to go with that red heart paper, and it did sit to the side for the entire layout, but I didn't end up using it. And I couldn't find any paper, to be honest, pattern paper that I really liked. I've sped this up a bit so you can actually sort of see what I've tossed up in between, and you might have your own ideas and go, oh yeah, maybe you should have used that or whatever. I'm pretty happy with what I've picked. I didn't want to do too much red. For me, red can be quite a bit of a sort of overbearing almost kind of colour. So it's not a colour I usually scrap with in a big amount. So that darker red cardstock in the background was like, oh, and I actually tossed up a while as to whether I was going to use it. But yeah, I went with it. Now I've done this floral paper, which is again from that Aldi paper pad I was telling you about. If you're not familiar, Aldi is a shopping or supermarket. And I've gone with that because, again, it's that black and white. It's got those nice pretty floral pattern on it. So I went with that. Now, you'll see me here. I actually kept it here to show you that I did it. I was going to keep the white border on the photo. But as you can see, I changed my mind. I just didn't quite like the look of how it sat on this paper, and I really wanted that paper in that position. So yeah, I was lucky in that I've learnt to sort of only really adhere or put adhesive on things sort of in the centre. So it gives me room to layer things if I want underneath, or underneath photos, or underneath, paper like mats and things like that. So just a tip. And then if you decide that you want to cut the border off, it works really well. So then I trimmed it down because I didn't want a whole big bit of that pattern paper sticking out. I didn't feel that it needed it. But it just, as again, it sort of offsets that red with the black and the white of the cat. So it sort of worked in well, I thought anyway. So what I'm going to do is, I had this brilliant idea that I have this tub and another tub full of Project Life cards. So I thought I couldn't find a pattern paper that really suited what I was after. So I thought, in all the millions and trillions of cards I had, and here it is, I found 2 4x6 cards. I don't know if they're from the same collection. If you want to know the collection, let me know in the comments below, and I'll dig back through and find which ones. I know where I got them from in the cart, in the box, so I can tell you what they were, but I just can't think off the top of my head. And then I thought, I couldn't find any other sort of black-white type embellishments or layers that would fit really well. So I went with the bit of like a paper bag, whatever you call it. So why not, really? All right, so I ended up playing around with the layers and sticking it all down. I must have not hit record. As I said, I got interrupted last night and it got really late and so I had to finish this quickly today so I would get it up for you tomorrow, because today it's now Monday night. So I've put 2 photo frames, not photo frames. Oh my God. Yep, the frames, I can't think of them. In the backgrounds there, one at the top, one at the bottom, you can see poking out. They're from Kaiser Craft. I've stuck a doily in. Now, the sketch does have 2 doilies. I tried to go with 2, and maybe because my photo's big or my layers maybe, it didn't suit. So, and I didn't want to take away from the red in the background. That would just be like the paint. So I've just stuck with 1 and gone with some extra layers there, I think, on, with the paper bag and whatever. So what you saw me do is dig through my little stash of Kitaholic Kit goodies. Now, they're my December ones, and I'm just trying to use them up before I crack open the January runs. So just using some of this up as much as possible. So I've got a little paper pinky coloured heart, a little person, a girl, and then I've just got 2 words that just says love you. Now, there's a couple of photos that actually go with this photo itself, and it's sort of what I can pick is they've been sort of taken some still shots of the lead up of Bethany getting to the cat. So it's sort of the cat being introduced to her or whatever, and yeah, so this was the best of all of them. It sort of looked very cute, but yes, unless like she was going to attack her, like as in Beth was going to attack the cat. So just playing around with some embellishments. Now, the sketch does call for on the left and on the right. You can see me tapping my fingers there. It has got like a bow or something there and a flare. It specifically says flare. So I actually did realise I don't have a lot of flares in my stash. So I am on a spending freeze. So I will wait and see. Maybe I'll get some for my birthday. So I am on a spending freeze. I'm trying to be, apart from all kit subscriptions. From now, from the 1st of January to the end, or 1st of May, end of May, one or the other. No, I think it's the 1st of May, because then my birthday's at the beginning of June, so I want to be able to, buy stuff for me for my birthday. Anyway, so going through here, these are just some buttons and brads and things in that container. I'm just digging through to see, and I had remembered that I'd brought some buttons, wood buttons that had like pictures of cats on them, so I thought that would work perfectly. And then this wood veneer, like, what would you call it? A scallop circle? No. Looks more like a bit of a metal kind of thing. I was contemplating doing my old trick of colouring my wood veneer, as in the background, that circular piece. Changed my mind. I thought that it's a pale sort of wood, so it sits in nicely with the other paler tones of the layout. I thought anyway. This was, I thought, perfect. This is not a flare. That sweet, is actually a badge. So I actually thought I'm going to fight with this, and I edit this out. It takes me ages, and because I'm stubborn, I actually ended up poking a hole through and pinning it on because it wouldn't glue, just because the uneven surface, I think, of the background. So I actually pinned it through, and it stayed. It's fine, and it'll go into a pocket and hopefully stay there for all of time. I decided that my wood veneer piece, it's got that little hole in the top, almost like a tag. So I decided to put some twine through. I do pick a yellow twine, which I don't think you can quite see here on the video. My screen you can't anyway, it's on a little editing screen. But I thought that sort of ties in with some little other pops of yellow. Like I've got a yellow heart. One of my Project Life cards is yellow with red and black spots on it, which you'll probably see in the close-up. So I just thought it sort of balanced it off again a little bit. Just adding some little pops of yellow with the red, black and white sort of being the main colours of this layout. And I do apologise, my throat probably sounds really scratchy to me. So, yeah, I do apologise for that. Now, this little piece here, this little wood button type piece, is like a Hello Kitty. And I got it because my daughter loves our cat and loves animals in general. So when I saw it, I thought, I'm sure there'll be bound to be a layout I do of her with the cat, so I thought I'll have it there to use, not thinking that I would use it for my stepdaughters, and that's cool. So just whacking down some Tobo glue there, just to stick some twine. Again, another soft pop of yellow, bit of texture to go in sort of with the bag, and is it called glassine bag? Is that what you call them? And the doily as well. Oh, and another little red heart. So I ad-lib a few things, but generally the guts of the sketch you can see there. If you want to see the sketch itself, jump on over to the Paper Issues blog or Facebook page, I think, and you can see all of their challenges. They have a whole heap for January. As I said, this is the first time I've jumped in and done it, done one of theirs, I think. So yeah, I quite liked it, and they're all different types of challenges too. So I might try and give them another go. I probably won't have a process video for it, but I might pop up on a blog post for you. So I'm pretty much all done. I decide, oh, I've got little fingers watching me. It's my daughter. Did this at lunchtime today when all the other daycare kids were asleep and she was awake. So I'm just drawing a little border around just to bring it all in, settle it all down, because there's lots of colour and stuff going on this page as such. So yeah, all done. I have some close-ups of my layout here for you. Now, if you're a new subscriber, don't forget to subscribe. I always love seeing new subscribers. Hit the like if you liked it. Comments in the